What's up, everybody?
How y'all doing this evening?
Glad to be back.
Yes, we're the Hartmans
Yes, we are the Hardmans, and we are here for episode 2
of
Our
OURBONDLIVE.
Bond Live.
So if share this broadcast.
Most definitely.
We
Most
come
definitely.
on every Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And so you can see we're on Facebook, Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Follow us, like, share,
Yes.
do all of that good stuff. Let everybody know that we are on live right now. So please share with others about Our Bond Live. We're happy to be on again.
Yes.
All right.
So tell them you can get that off. So hey y'all, tell everyone what we're all about. What is Our Bond Live?
So Our Bond Live is basically a platform that we're using as an opportunity to talk about different topics, trending topics that are happening in the atmosphere, with it, whether it's on social media or if it's just in entertainment or just whatever. Opportunities to really kind of share our point of view,
right?
And let people know about what's going on, and then we Hardmanize it, or we give our Hardman point of view, as it relates to a lot of these trending topics that are taking place.
Yes, so it can deal with marriage, family,
parenting,
children, parenting, finances, life, just in general, just a full circle of life.
Yeah.
And today. Established.
The Hardmans were established 2004.
Yes,
so it's so cool that we get to express this, and we love the bond that we've been allowed to share during this time. So
let's jump in.
Okay. All right. So she's the setup woman. So she sets up everything. So what we're going to talk about tonight, babe?
Let's show our hot topics.
All right. So what we have some hot topics in which we want to talk about, and these are two things.
Yes. We're going to be talking about finances and adultery.
Wow.
Those right there, it's going to take more than an hour to talk about that, but for this time that we have this evening, for this hour, we're going to be talking about two separate situations, hot topics, in
scenarios,
social media.
Yeah.
But finances, finances is, it can enhance a relationship.
Yeah.
Or it can ruin a relationship. That's one of the major causes of divorce.
Yeah.
And also, too, you don't even have to be married. You can have a family member that owe you some money.
Oh yeah.
And you stop talking to them for years. Okay, so finances is not just in marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, because how you deal with
your
finances while you single always filters into, spills into
every
marriage.
aspect of life.
Every aspect of life.
So
how you raise your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
How you're married, everything.
Yeah.
So then we have adultery.
Yeah. And so when you look at those two topics alone, those two topics really are the leading causes of divorce. And that's within the Christendom, Christian relationships, and in relationships that are not founded on Christian values.
Yes.
Just in marriages in general.
And
so
that's true.
And so when you think about those two aspects, finances and adultery, those are two major hot buttons in relationships.
So adultery, that's been around since the creation of man.
Yeah.
It's just it happens, and of course in marriage, and even when you're in a relationship, cheating does occur. So we're going to delve into that. And ask you some tough questions. And so when we ask these questions, we want you to respond. We see y'all in the comments.
Yeah,
Thanks
we
for
already
joining.
see it. Thanks, Madam Diva Geneva and Doris.
Okay, hey,
Parks.
how y'all doing?
What's up, y'all?
Okay, so let's get in.
All right.
Let's get started with the first topic.
So our first topic, go ahead. You do your thing, and you can set it up for us.
Okay, so beautiful beautiful couple, the Harveys, Steve
Yeah.
Harvey and Marjorie Harvey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have been in the news recently because they're celebrating their anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're doing it their way, the Harvey way. You see that picture right there. They're on a yacht, beautiful water, and they are going coast to coast, country to country, and celebrating.
Yeah.
Now, how this relates to finances is that they're getting a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
That he's spending all this money that he doesn't have. And, with his recent closings of different shows and things like that his wife is a gold digger. I mean, the media can the media can just be brutal.
Yeah.
And
so, very harsh.
So I like how he just stated his position and kept it moving.
Yeah.
He said, is simply, I'm ad-libbing, but paraphrasing, but basically he said, it is okay. There are actually couples out there that enjoy being married and just love each other.
Yeah.
So they're enjoying each other.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start this conversation off today with just finances in general. Isn't it interesting that when you're in a relationship, you already have to deal with the backgrounds that you all bring to the relationship with finances. But isn't it interesting how a lot of times we will listen to the chatter of outside parties?
Yeah.
And we look at social media, we look at even if you're not married, single too, we let the world and others define how we're supposed to spend our money.
Yeah, and I'll just say this: the way that he responded to his critics, or just to even anybody responding or putting, making some evil statements about his wife. First of all, as a husband, as a father, as a protector and provider, and as someone who's going to make sure that I go to bat for my family, I really, want to give big shout outs to Steve for that, being able to address the situation and don't come at my wife like that.
Right.
Now, and I say the same thing. A lot of people call me a big teddy bear. A lot of people call me, hey, I'm a nice dude, all that. But if you want to see me turn from a teddy bear to a grizzly bear, start talking about my family, and you'll see the grizzly come out. And one of the things that he did, he addressed it head on. And what I number one, if you are in a relationship and y'all have come to an agreement on how y'all gonna handle your finances, man, listen, you ain't got to listen to nobody else but whatever the dynamics and whatever the agreements that you've come up with within your marriage.
Right.
So I see it as this: if y'all too fine with it, if the husband and wife and the family, and the nucleus is fine with it and they're enjoying it, and then here's another thing, they worked hard for their money. Right. So if they want to enjoy and do some things and have a lavish, trip around the world or however they doing it, man, big ups to them.
Right.
Let them enjoy themselves. So
yeah, and what I wanted to add to that, when you're dealing with finances, there are many ways you can deal with finances in the household.
Yeah.
You can have a joint account.
Yeah.
You can have separate accounts.
Separate accounts. Yeah.
You can have hidden accounts.
She probably got some of them.
She
ain't telling me about. She got a little stash.
Okay, let's move on. So you can and then too, how you deal with the finances of the house. You can have one spouse that pays the major bills.
Yeah.
Like that works for us personally. So, and then you can have the other spouse pay the little smaller bills or the bills that deal with the kids. It's your own recipe.
Yeah.
There isn't a cookbook out there for a marriage.
Yeah.
It isn't. Yeah. You create your own way. Now, let me tell you this, though. We come from different backgrounds when it comes to finances. So, depending on how you were used to your finances whenever you were single, those same spending habits now come into your marriage, and that could be a good or a bad thing.
That
could be a good or a bad thing. So you always have that usually your mate's supposed to balance you out. Usually there's one that might not be the best with spending money. And then there's the other that keeps, does the budgets and, is the financial planner
Yeah.
and all of that good stuff. And so you have to have, like, when you enter into a marriage, there has to be a way for you to communicate with each other and know what works for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think every marriage or every relationship should have come to Jesus moment, in a sense where you
That's
sit
right.
down at the table and you discuss your finances. I really believe that that's very important to the process of really bringing a level of growth and maturity, and you moving in the same direction when you're able to communicate, even past mistakes, credit scores, all that stuff. You could lay that stuff on the table. And a lot of times couples don't really want to deal with that because
Right.
there are some moments where they may be
Sensitive.
ashamed or they may be sensitive as it relates to finances. But this is the very most important thing that you should do. You should always come to the table and be open and honest with everything, that's especially if you're saying that you are y'all are married and two shall become one.
Right.
How can you become one in the sense of not being able to divulge information? Now, we're not talking about having a little stash that you want to buy a gift for your spouse and you don't want them to know about it. And then sometimes it's good to have that agreement. Say, okay, we got some money in this area, but
Yeah.
then we also got some money in this side where we could do whatever we want to do with it. And
So
that's a good thing.
So what if someone comes into the to relationship saying, "Well, it's my money. I work hard. I work hard for my money, and I should be able to spend and do whatever I want with my money." This is talking about the person that is married.
Yeah.
People that are married. I I work a 9 to 5 just like you work a 9 to 5, and I should be able to spend my money the way that I want to spend my money. I worked hard. Went to school all these years, and do they have a right?
I would say to a certain extent, but when you make decisions and you have come into a relationship and a marriage, you can't just think about you anymore.
Exactly.
Everything
I
that
was waiting for you to say
everything
that.
that you think about now directly affects every person that is connected to you. And so the biggest way to handle it is, okay, y'all come to an agreement. Y'all have the talk. I want to be able to enjoy myself. So, okay, yeah, we'll set a little bit of money aside, that this would be your little money where you can enjoy. You can do whatever you want. But we know that we have responsibilities if we're trying to, number one, if we're trying to save and set a legacy and a foundation for our children, then we definitely have to be able to address certain things in a way, because if we're not setting the foundation or creating a legacy for the next generation, and from a biblical standpoint, a man is supposed to leave an inheritance not only to his children, but it talks about leaving an inheritance to his children's children.
Right.
So if we're talking about really setting a foundation like that, we're really talking about making the necessary adjustments, taking inventory, taking the initiative, being intentional about your finances, and doing whatever it takes to really set a legacy or create a foundation for the generations to follow after you. So I think you definitely need to communicate. And you can't make no personal decisions by yourself. There needs to be some level of coming to an agreement with your
Explain that. You
spouse.
say you can't make any personal. You need to expound on
All
that.
right,
You
all
can't
right.
make any personal decisions.
Yeah, you
on
can't
yourself.
make any personal
What do you mean by
financial
that?
decisions without really consulting your spouse, in a sense. There needs to be some level of understanding on how you want to say, you want to be able to if you want to splurge a little bit and you want to do some things, there needs to be an agreement.
I think, let me tell you, and I agree. And what helped us was we have a what's the call? Something fun, a spending fund.
Oh yeah.
Fun, whatever. We called it something else, but it's a spending fund. So it's like every month we go over budget, and we have an app. you know, and we pay ourselves. We have a certain allotment that we pay ourselves. That and a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm able to spend that money how I want to spend. I don't have to talk about that.
Don't need no discussion from me, because that has been already her discretionary fund that she has, where she can do whatever she wants to do.
So I just wanted to clarify when you said like no personal decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now when we talk about big purchases, that might
big person. Yeah. But if you all come to an agreement, like, hey, each month you get to spend $500, $1,000, you know, and you could splurge on that, or $50, you know,
whatever it
$100, whatever it is, you know.
That's your discretion. Is that your discretion?
That is your and I think couples need to talk about that more. And then if you're single, you need to get into that habit as well. Not just for, you know, like when you get married, but just for personal development. Yeah. Because you're also paying yourself. Then you also, too, you know, you need to have a budget for savings. Yeah. And one for retirement and things like that. But a lot of people forget about that. About that paying themselves. You want to let's ask that question.
Yeah. So we want to ask a question to our audience. We see some more coming in. Hey, Norris, what's going on? Hey, Jacqueline, glad y'all can join into our show tonight. Thanks for watching. And we're going to ask a question. So we want participation. So we want you to comment as much as you possibly can to let us know what you're thinking as we're going through these topics.
So we're going to have a question.
So we're going to have a question. We're going to read it out. And we're going to read it out. And here's the question.
Let me put my glasses on.
Go ahead. Get your glasses so you can read, baby.
Okay. So the question 1. Should your financial standard of living decrease to match your current relationship? Read it again. Should your financial standard of living decrease to match your current relationship? A, absolutely not. B, I will do anything to please my partner. I support them 100%. C, it's okay, but only with the time limit. D, I may act like I will, but I will always keep a secret stash. Should your financial standard of living decrease to match your current relationship?
All right. So we got that question. So we want our audience, our viewers, we want them to be able to comment and let us know what you're thinking, so we can have this discussion tonight.
Someone said, "A, absolutely not." And so let's delve into that. Let's give an example. Absolutely. Let's give an example, y'all. Okay.
All right.
Here's an example. Okay. Let's say. Okay. C. Someone says.
Okay.
C
a couple of C's.
C was. I'll give them a time limit. I
think.
think.
Time limit.
Okay. Yeah. Here is an example. What if? Okay. Your partner loses their job. Okay. They lose their job. Yeah. And so now, you're used to spending at a certain level. A, absolutely not. Let me talk. You're used to spending on a certain level, but because they have lost their job, now your standard of living a little bit has to come down.
Yeah.
Not to say, okay, we're living a house, apartment, townhome or whatever, and now we gotta move into our car. Now I'm
into a little shanty.
What's a shanty?
Like a shack.
A shack?
Yeah.
Is that a real word?
It's a real word.
It sure is.
Yes, it is. All right, boo.
So that is the kind of that's like a scenario. What's another scenario?
I think you've come together and you want to make a purchase together, like a home or a second home or whatever the case may be. Now
a home. Okay, so you want to move into
a home,
but you can only afford maybe a town home or a
so
smaller home.
Yeah, so now you have to make certain decisions, and then also too, if you've never really had the opportunity to really save up like you want to, now you got to come to an agreement. Okay, how are we going to save in a way where we can still, enjoy life, but also put back some things because we got some goals that we want to accomplish. And so we're saying to ourselves, all right, we gotta set some goals and some foundations on what we want to do moving forward. And so, so that means maybe you might have to sacrifice a little bit.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So we got, B. The B was I'm willing to do whatever it takes, to satisfy my partner. So B, for better or for worse. So Brother Norris put that out there.
My response to that would have been C. There has to be a time limit. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, I know whenever I went back to school to get my second master's, I wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And so we were on one income. Mm-hmm. How many kids we had?
We had two, and then we had
pregnant,
and then we ended up having three. Yeah. During that process.
Yeah. So it was it was like 2 years.
2 years.
Sacrifice. Mm-hmm. So there were things we just could not do. And so I knew that we were sacrificing for a time. I gave him a time.
Yeah.
I said, babe.
She said, bear with me.
Just if we just do it for this time frame, because in essence he was like a single dad.
I was a single dad, during the week.
Because I was leaving out of the state. Yeah. So it was a lot. Now our marriage would not have survived if this would have been a 5-year, 6-year, 8-year plan. Yeah. It wouldn't. So I came to him. I was like, babe, if you trust me on this one, trust me on this one, it's going to be a greater reward later down. I just need a good year to it was a good year of where I was, but then away from home, but then a year I still had to travel. So it was about 2 years. It was a 2-year sacrifice. Mm-hmm.
But when we look at it now, those sacrifices that we made, and then at the same time, our daughters were younger. They were basically toddlers, and so they didn't even remember a lot of the sacrifice that we made. Pork and beans and rice, some fried bologna and cheese sandwiches,
or those banquet TV dinners.
Oh, banquet TV dinners, man! Yeah. We was doing everything that we needed to do during that period of time, and they was fed. They was eating. They didn't cry. We kept their stomachs full. But it was a sacrifice. It was a major sacrifice,
also, our girls always look good, even though I was thrift store shopping. Okay, thrift store shopping.
Hey, listen, do not sleep on the thrift store. Please do not sleep on the thrift store. And sometimes, and some of the clothes were gently used, but nice clothes.
They looked good.
Nice clothes. But these were sacrifices that we made because we knew that, number one, there was a time limit on it. There was a term to what we were trying to accomplish. So we said, okay, within 2 years, 3 years. And now, as a result of what happened, that was 10 years ago, we're still reaping the benefits of it now and the sacrifices that we make. See, in life, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to make some real sacrifices. And if you make those sacrifices now, you have the ability to live a better life later, and sometimes you got to delay gratification. You can't have everything like you want right now, and so these are some of the decisions that we have to make as a couple. But I think, even to answer that question, in my own opinion, I think I see a little bit of B and C. Okay. Because the reason why I see B and C is, number one, when your spouse comes to you and they have a legitimate something that they want, and you can see the twinkle in their eye and their passion, and you can see that this is something that they really want. As a spouse, especially as a husband, from my standpoint, when I saw the twinkling in your eye, when I saw that this was something that you really wanted to do, I was like, well, let's make it happen. Yeah. So I didn't know if I quite felt her traveling back and forth out of state, to do it. But because this was something that she really wanted, I was willing to go ahead and and compromise and give her that opportunity to explore that. And then
Right.
C, I knew there was a time limit on it.
Right. So I can see you saying the B and
It was a combination of B and C.
But I want to say this too before we move on to the next topic. When he kept saying, "You make the sacrifices, you make the sacrifices," always know you're making a sacrifice on purpose.
Yeah, on
like
purpose, man. There has to be
there's
something.
an end goal.
Yeah.
This struggling all my life.
No,
all my life I had to fight. You not
no Harpo.
there's no. There's no purpose, so you struggling. That's not a sacrifice.
And it's almost like you're struggling for struggling's sake. Nobody wants to struggle their entire life.
Right.
There needs to be some level of boundaries, some level of limitations, but there needs to be some goal setting. There needs to be some good decision making, because we are the sum total of the decisions we make.
That's good.
Everything that we do in life is a direct reflection of what we've done or what we decided to do. And so we're the sum total of our decision making. So if we're going to make good decisions, we got to have those communication moments where we're sitting down and we're actually trying to accomplish something.
Right.
And we sit down together and say, okay, what's going to be the legacy that we're trying to leave for the next generation and the generation after that?
Right.
How are we going to, get to that place?
And so, and no one else can tell us. So that's why we're not listening to, unless you're going to a financial planner. I get that.
Yeah.
But you're not listening to mom and them, social media, looking online, look and see what the latest, what everybody else is wearing, what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
You cannot count other folks' money.
Oh, man.
You just can't, because you don't know their struggle.
You don't know what they're dealing with.
You don't know their the sacrifices that they've made in the past, so where they're reaping the benefits now. So stay in your lane.
And you don't know if it's a facade.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Because there's a lot of that going on where it looks good on the outside, but everything that glitters is not gold. Yeah. So we have to, that's why you have to make that decision on what you want to accomplish with your spouse, with that significant other, your ride or die. You say, this is what we want to accomplish. This is how we're going to work together. And these are some of the things that we want to do. So we may have to sacrifice for a little while, but hey, we're going to do that.
Okay. Good.
Is
there a comment we need?
There's a couple of comments. Somebody said the thrift store has some gems if you have patience, and we had Derica, saying I'm trying to tell you that the thrift store all day, and then as it relates, I think to everything looks like glitter is not always gold. I think she said there's a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of fake relationships that's going on. A whole bunch of them.
A lot of
them. Yeah.
Are we darker or are we okay?
I think we all right.
Okay, so thank you for your comments. We're gonna move on to the next topic.
Hot topic.
Adultery.
Oh, adultery.
Okay.
So we talked with finances, and now we're dealing with adultery. All right, set us up, babe.
I like it when you say that. I do.
Set us up, babe.
Thank you. Okay,
set us up.
This couple, Wendy Williams, how you doing?
How you doing? Yeah, all that.
Wendy Williams and her husband Kevin. I think they're still married, but they're going through a divorce right now. They've been on social media for a while, okay? But lately, the hottest topic is that she admitted last week that she knew about her husband's
indiscretion.
Yes, infidelity. Now, she knew he had a whole nother lifestyle, a whole nother house, a whole nother woman, and a whole nother baby. Wow. And she knew that, but she stayed because their son, they only have one child, their son was still in high school. So she was trying to basically get her ducks in a row, get her businesses in order. Now, they have joint business ventures together. And then she wanted to keep a stable household and have two parents in the house while the son was there. And then she filed for divorce after, when the son went away to college. I just to start this conversation out, this topic off, we women in the past, like our grandmothers, our mothers, and all of that,
we know where you're
they
going.
always said you just stay.
Stick it out.
You stick it out, you stay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, they ain't tell us
how to stick it out, what to do, no explanation.
Who to talk? You don't talk about it. You just stick it out. Then they be so proud. I've been married this 40, long, for this long,
years,
for this
and
long.
all this other foolishness.
And granddaddy and uncle them got all these other headed children walking around that they your brother or your sister,
and
right?
you don't even know. You got some cousins, or you think they're your cousins, they actually your brother.
So, but today's woman, we are more empowered. We have more options. Mm-hmm. You know, we can go to different resources. We can seek out counseling. We can pack up all our stuff and leave. We in a condo. Okay, we can buy another. Mm-hmm. We have those options that are available, and a lot of times, it's like when you do go through problems, no one knows like who to talk to. We just end it and move on because society says that it's okay to. So my question to start this off is, what does a woman do? Where does a woman go? Who does a woman... Oh, and I'm saying it from a female perspective, but I know men go through it too. But who does one talk to? Who does one confide in? Who does one trust whenever they're going through an adulterous marriage, cheating in a relationship? What positive figure or organization or something, where do they go?
All right. Wow. So I think first of all, if you have to start with you. And we always try to get conventional wisdom from everybody else and talk to everybody else, but you have to start with your own personal thoughts and feelings on how you feel about this situation, because people could be telling you what you should be doing, but that's not how you're feeling on the inside. So you have to kind of deal with you from that perspective, but then also you have to be careful in dealing with you, because if you're not healed and you're trying to deal with the situation, you're going to look at it from faulty mechanisms. Right. So what you have to do is try to find an opportunity to really bring some healing to your situation, and deal with it from a perspective of, man, this is a terrible situation. I'm real about it. I understand what's going on. This is how you begin to be honest with yourself, because honesty sets the foundation of you now moving to healing and wholeness. If you're not honest, if you're still in denial, you still think everything is all peaches and cream, then you're actually setting yourself up for a bigger fall down the road. So I think the biggest way you do it is you set it up and say, okay, let me be honest. My whole situation and scenario that I'm dealing with right now is not a good situation.
It's not good at all.
This situation is unfortunate. You can't just continue to sulk or cry or have pity parties, but you have to get to a place of now acknowledging and be real and say, this is what happened.
And can I add into that? A lot of times, unfortunately, in marriage, person thinks, okay, well, I finally got married. I made it. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
But you stop developing yourself. And a lot of the times you put your energy into trying to develop the marriage. Or you're focusing on the kids. Mm-hmm. You might be focusing on an aging parent. All these other scenarios, but you put yourself last. Mm-hmm. And so, I always say this, that my husband married 3 women. I'm the 3 women. One who he married, and then the one that I am today. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he's happy that I'm not the same that I was 15 years ago. Okay. And then the
Thank
one.
God for growth.
Yes. And evolution.
Yeah.
And then the one that he's going to meet later on in life, because you're dealing with aging parents, kids
all
in
of that.
college, retirement,
There's so many
all
different
of that
nuances.
So you should never stay stagnant. Even when you're single, you should never stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And if it's a hope for you to be married, you should be working not towards marriage, but working towards developing yourself. And marriage will come if that's your heart's desire. But working on developing yourself to make yourself more and more whole. Now, you are not going to be 100% whole when you get married. That's not the case. But the issue is when you stop loving on yourself. And then when you stop loving on yourself, then when you have situations like adultery or other things, it's hard you're looking through everything in faulty lenses. It's like a broken glass. You don't know what to see, right? You know, and so we do know that God restores.
God can restore anything.
We've seen marriages go through way worse than what Wendy and Kevin going through.
Exactly.
And they still married. Not to say you got to stay, but we've seen God restore and heal marriages.
A lot of things that they thought were beyond repair. And
He can do that.
But God has a way of restoring and really, when the restoration process happens through God's purpose, He restores it in such a way to where you're able to see the benefits of what happened when it happened, but then how you were able to grow and progress and even become mature, and be able to address it and still love the person, even in spite of all of the things that you've gone through. Now, that's a level of maturity right there. That's a level of maturity. And so, she knew it was going on. She's putting herself in a position now, Wendy, and now she's thinking, that she don't want this.
Yeah, I think they were married 21 years. So she got to a point where enough was enough. And so I'm not mad. I'm not mad at her. I wish her well. I wish them well. He has acknowledged his role in it and is sorrowful. But sometimes you do get to a point where enough is enough. And the woman feels disrespected. And then there's a habit of habitual habit to keep doing it over and over and over again. So now you have to think about, not only
is it healthy?
Is it emotional abuse?
Emotional abuse and all of those things. So you really have to really take an inventory. How is this really making me feel?
And you can only do that when you're healthy.
Exactly. But you have to take the time, because when you're going through it, a lot of times when we're going through unhealthy situations, we're just trying to cope. We're just trying to make it through to the next day. We don't know how we're going to make it. And this hard situation is just a tough situation. And I don't even know how I'm going to make the next day. But you make it somehow, some way. You make it. And when you're thinking about your own personal growth and you being healthy and you saying, you know what, I'm bigger than this. I'm better than this. I don't have to succumb to this type of, treatment. When you begin to value yourself and you begin to really look inwardly and really know that, hey, I'm bigger than the situation I'm in right now, then it gives you an opportunity to, make the decisions. But when you feel like there's no hope or there's no options, you'll stay in a terrible situation because you feel like you don't have nowhere else to go. Now, in her state, I think, she got financial well-being and she can do that. But back in the day,
she was going through it though.
Oh yeah, she was going
recently through it. What is it? What's the word? Relapsed into using cocaine and stuff. So I'm sure that triggered it. And I think she did say that triggered it. So she was going through these. She said she's known for some years. Once, I don't know if she said a couple of years or a few years. But she was going through. And if you look at her and just hear her speak, you can tell now that she's a woman with more confidence. I mean, she was walking the walk and talking the talk, because that's just her job. But you could tell that she's been through it. And she has made a decision. And she's happy with her decision.
Yeah.
Now she's just doing just the final steps, paperwork to make sure that she's financially set and her kids and you know,
and see, you know, a lot of times when you feel like you have no options, and I know, you know, back in the day, you know, married couples, you had the husband who was the breadwinner, and a lot of times the wife stayed at home and, you know, took care of the family, and sometimes there were so many things going on to the point of where the wife felt like she had no options.
Right. We have
so she had
now.
to stay. And I think, you know, in that, men were able to do crazy stuff.
They still do, baby.
And they still, I mean, it's still going on. You know, it's still happening.
And women do.
Yeah,
too.
and that too, you know.
Yeah.
But they were doing crazy stuff. And they felt like because they had nowhere to go, or this was my sole source of resource, was my husband, then I had to stay in the marriage. You know, like they had to stay in a marriage. But we have to realize that nothing should keep you in a situation to the point of where you begin to look at yourself. Your esteem is low.
Yeah.
And you become a shell of yourself.
Because you're no good for anybody else.
And you're no good.
You're no good for yourself.
You're unhealthy. And
children.
you're abused emotionally. You're abused mentally. Every aspect of you're abused. And that cannot be the situation. If we're trying to look at it from a standpoint of trying to help people really grow in their own personal development, even in relationship, you could be married but still have goals and have now I know what you're saying too. You could be married and still be single. But you could be married and still have goals and aspirations that you want to attain and want to ascribe to.
You should.
So there should be some level of attainment and growth in your own personal life, even as it relates to marriage. You know, and y'all should be trying to grow together.
Right.
We should be our biggest cheerleaders. I should be cheering my wife on as she's trying to strive to do different things in life so that she doesn't lose herself in a relationship. And the same with her. She should be pushing me on to be the best, you know, man that I could possibly be so that I can have opportunities where I can grow and attain different things. So we should be able to cheer each other on.
Right.
And push each other and just say, hey, God, hey, I love you and I want to see the best version of you. And she should say the same thing to me. I love you. And she wants to see the best version of me. I can't deal with her, you know, sometimes. But anyway.
we have a comment?
We had some more comments. She's dealt with all that she's dealt with. It was too much right there. And I would have left that man. I'm not staying. Okay, sorry, that's Derica. Okay. And then Madam Diva Geneva, she said, yeah, Wendy dealt with a lot. I've seen women do the same. And she said, I've seen men stay after adultery too. So
either
you know,
or.
it's all,
and we're not saying what is right and what is wrong. We do know the center of a marriage should be Christ.
Yeah, God.
You know,
God is the center of a marriage because He created it.
Precisely. And so only He can tell you what you should do in that marriage. Whatever works, you know, for your marriage. But a marriage should flourish. It should move towards something because you're stronger together. You shouldn't be weaker together.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the question. So we have a question.
So we got a question for you guys. And as we look at this question, let's here's the question. Go ahead and set it up, babe. Okay. Get your glasses. Go ahead and set it up. Read for us. Read.
Okay, question 2. Read. You silly. If adultery occurs in a relationship, what is your next step? A, get the heck out of Dodge. That means leave, run. B, forgive and move on. C, stay but resent them for a long time. And you know, women, we can hold on to some grudges. D, try to work on the relationship together with counseling. Or E, commit adultery to get them back. Now, we're not saying adultery like Wendy's husband. It could be that extreme, with having a whole baby, or it could just be one time. You know, so these are all adulteries. It could be emotional adultery. You know, it can be, so just Someone said,
Try to work.
Try to work. Okay, someone said D. Try to work on the relationship together with counseling. Mm-hmm. That's good. So again, if adultery occurs in a relationship, what is your next step? Get the heck out of Dodge. A. B. Forgive and move on. C. Stay but resent them for a long time. Try to work on the relationship together with counseling. Or E. Commit adultery to get them back.
All right. So that was the question. So we're gonna have. Hopefully, y'all can continue to comment and put your and let us know what you're thinking. But I see this as I've learned and I've grown in just life and I think too, if I was to experience that, I would always look at it from a biblical point of view. I would look at it from a biblical point of view because, number one, we all make mistakes. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. No one is perfect. So and especially if that person really is trying to make it work better. And trying to do what is necessary, the necessary work of trying to really restore the marriage or the relationship. Then I could see that as okay, because they're making an effort and because they're really sincere, and their sincerity is not just in lip service. It's their actions. It's their actions. Yeah. You'll be able to see their actions through their sincerity through their actions, and you'll see that they're trying to make the steps, and you see that they really are. They're remorseful or they regret and they even repent for what they've done. Right. And so they're actually moving in a new direction and trying to make the relationship work. But let me
tell you, women or men, if this happens to you, if you see that, you see that there is progress, the quickest way for them to take some steps backwards is to not appreciate what they're doing. Yeah. Yes, you may still be hurt. Yeah. It hurts. Yeah. But if you want to continue in the relationship, you have to try to move forward. Not to say to forget. Yeah. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. You're not going to forget, but there has to be a change in your environment. Yeah.
And I'll say this too, from the other side, the person who is actually been the perpetrator of the infidelity, they can't put a time limit on when the other person has to heal from that. Right. Because they were the one that did it wrong. So now you're going to get mad at the person.
And they can't say get over it. They better not
say you need to get over it. Right. No. Right. So there needs to be a level of understanding on both sides from the standpoint of the perpetrator. You don't get to dictate how this goes. You just need to work on making the relationship better. Now, some are healed, but they use it as a tool to manipulate afterwards. So we got to watch out for all of that too. But I think if a person was genuinely hurt, there's going to be a time limit on their healing. Yeah. And who are you as the perpetrator to say when that healing takes place?
You said there is not going to, you said there is.
No, there is going to be a time for that healing to take place. And who is it that the perpetrator or the one who committed adultery, how do they get to now stipulate?
That's true.
When the person that they did it on will heal?
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
And I don't care how it is. You might say get over it, or I'm apologizing. I'm trying to move in the right direction. But you can't stipulate when that person is healing from that. Yeah. So you just gotta ride that out. You the one that did the wrong. Right. You gotta ride it out. There's a couple of more comments. I would say D and B, but if that don't work, honey, do A and get the heck out of Dodge. Hey. And then I would say D.
Those are steps. Those are steps. I think the counseling is good. If both are willing to go to counseling. Yeah. And sometimes you need separate counseling as well. Separate counseling, but then definitely joint counseling. And if they're putting forth effort, to like make changes in their environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could be something simple as, okay, you have trouble with trusting them now.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be certain times, like if they're out late, hey,
Yeah.
you need to call to check
Yeah,
in.
call and check in.
Just to call to check in.
Yeah, make sure that you're doing your part to try to reassure the person,
them.
because the relationship, there was a breach.
Right.
So in order to repair the breach, it always takes extra work for the breach to be repaired than it was when it was whole in the first place. But now it's damaged, and now you got to work around the clock to get that breach done, and I get that breach repaired. Right. So I think with that, you will try to do your best to make sure that you're reaffirming, you're reassuring your spouse that, or your significant other, that, listen, I'm trying to move in the right direction, and whatever I need to do above and beyond whatever the call of duty is I'm willing to do that, especially as the perpetrator. Yeah.
Right. Did y'all have any questions? This was good. What time is it?
We got 6 minutes.
We got 6 minutes. So yeah.
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're off.
I just thought of that too, but I wasn't gonna say that because
it's
live.
All right. We live. Hey, we real too.
We live.
We real.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that in both of these situations, though, communication is key.
Yeah.
I once said that marriage is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah,
but it's one of the most fulfilling things
rewarding
and rewarding
things.
and rewarding things. Yeah. Is that a question?
No, it's just said I enjoyed this.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So it takes a lot of work, and those that are single, and if you're planning on getting married, y'all stop just planning for the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's just one day.
That's one day.
That's just one day.
But
that's good.
Yeah,
you're gonna get, but know that there's so
much more. Yeah.
So much more. So much more after that wedding day.
Yeah.
So be excited for both the wedding and the marriage. Okay. Not just the wedding. Yeah. Because that first year, and let me tell you what biblically, back in the day, that first year it's
rough.
Hard. And biblically back in the day, men were supposed
if they were military, they had to take a whole year off to really operate and set up and really build the bond in a relationship, because that first year of setting the foundation was so very important that hey, it was okay. Take that year off, get whatever your affairs in order so that y'all can actually start a good foundation on your marriage.
All right, and it's never too late to do that. Yes, the Bible says at year 1, but some of us need to do it at year 5, at year 7, 10, and 15. If you set that foundation for what you're going to do going forward, it makes everything better. So it's never too late to set the foundation if you haven't. Yeah. And I saw another comment, and it was like, my marriage now was sent. I truly believe from God. There was another, it hadn't happened in my marriage. Forgive and seek counseling and give them time to heal and ask for forgiveness. But yeah, and this is really enjoyable. So yeah, our biggest aspect of why we're doing our bond live is because, number one, we believe that God can use marriages and strong marriages to really help build the kingdom of God. Right. I really believe that. We believe that with our whole heart. And when you have marriages that are together, really marriage is the first building block of society. Right. Before the church was instituted, before anything else, marriage was the first thing. They got married. And marriage started, then the family, then other aspects of society started from marriage. So if you want to get notifications and stay connected to our Bond live group, you can text, you can put that on the screen, text, you'll see it on the screen, our Bond live to 31996. Yeah. Our Bond live to 31996.
And you can get information, updates on what we're doing. And this, and even as it relates to our show and stuff like that.
So we're here every Tuesday night at
7. So listen,
Eastern time.
Tell as many people about it as possible. Share, please share. Like our pages. Please go back and let people know that this is what we're trying to do, because I really believe this is ministry, and when we have a ministry opportunity, we want to be able to share what God has given us and be able to share it from our point of view, but not only just from our point of view, but we get our point of view from the Bible.
Right.
I mean, really, that's the foundation of even our relationship.
So tell them about our intimate couple sessions.
So we're having our intimate couple sessions. We're still doing this every second Friday of each month. Our next session will be on Friday the 13th. At 6:30 p.m. We have food, we're having fellowship and fun, and we're asking as many people, if you would like to be a part, come. And then if you want to be a part of the Not Easily Broken Marriage group, you can also text our bond to 31996, and you can be a part and add it to our group. So listen, we want to thank you guys for being a part of this show tonight. This is just our second show, and we're excited about it.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. So please let as many people know about our show. Just share it. We're trying to share, and we're trying to make this as big as we possibly can, because we feel like we have something that we need to say. So thank you guys.
All right.
Listen, and we'll catch you next Tuesday
at
all right,
7 p.m.
7
Y'all have a good night.
p.m.
Bye.
Peace.